Good morning, everyone. We're here with Pat Shank's daughter on Change Starts With Us, Ohio. Sarah Willoughby, I believe it is. I had asked Nancy what your last name was because I kept calling you Shank, and she said, no, that's not it. So yesterday we had a chance to talk a little bit about your father, and I really believe he is innocent, and we got to get the word out. And I want to see this video hit every news station, to get someone just to listen. So share a little bit about what you remember in court, what actually happened in court.
Well, which case? Because there was two cases in court that we had.
The
first one was more corrupt than the second.
Yeah, talk about the first. I know that. Well, I'm going to let you explain it. I know one of the girls ran out of the courtroom.
Yes, that's Kara.
And said nothing happened or something like that. But I think coming from you, I think people will, listen more. I'm going by what you and Pat, your father says, and what Nancy and I personally believe he's innocent. So let's prove it to the public now.
All right. Well, this really all started because of a party that happened at my house, and my dad kicked everybody out. So originally, it was just Ruby and Mark that made these accusations. Mark took Ruby to the police station and yada yada yada. But Mark Servans was known as a Medina snitch. He would befriend people and then turn them in.
Was he? Yeah. What was he? Was he an attorney or?
No, he was like a kid. He was a guy that he got in trouble with the police once and then made a deal to get out of his own trouble by getting somebody else in trouble.
Right, and our old saying is snitches get stitches. Okay, go on.
Yes.
Okay.
But anyways, so the people that he got involved, because there was Ruby Ashworth, Nicole Apostolakis, and Kara Armstrong. I went to high school with all three of them. Kara never really ever came over here, so that's probably one of the reasons why she ended up running out of the courtroom, saying that this, that it was lying, because she knows good and damn well that she was never here for sleepovers or anything.
Right.
But they were all drug addicts. And Nicole's sister actually just died of a overdose a few years ago. But anyways, the reason why Mark was able to get these girls to do this, because I'm pretty sure that, I know him and Ruby got caught in the park having sex.
Right.
And then after that, that's when this all happened.
Well, did your father have a problem with drugs by any chance?
Do what?
Was your father on any type of drugs at the time as well, or?
No, the only thing Mark was doing at the time was, are you talking about my father?
Yes.
Oh no, my dad was completely against drugs and everything.
Okay, that's what I want to hear. I heard that before, but I think the public needed to hear that part.
Yeah, no, my dad. There was an accusation from the girls saying that my dad drugged us, and we never got drugged with anything.
Right.
And then another reason why his trial went kind of south in the first case is because he didn't even know that my mom was on a certain medication that put people to sleep, because she had problems sleeping, but she kept all her medications in a locker at work. My mom only ever brought the medications that she needed to take home, that day. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a lot of drug addicts in our family, so if my mom didn't, we would have stuff go missing at the house all the time. So, even our Adderall, for example, she still keeps at her work.
Right.
To this day. And so my dad didn't know that she was on this certain medication. And so when it came up in the courtroom, my mom was like, well, yeah, I take this, but, I keep it in my locker at work. So it kind of threw everybody off that my mom was even on any kind of sleepy medication at all.
Right. Now, I made this that is for adults only, but your father had an accident earlier in his life. And the kids could not, I don't know if they're kids or not, but they could not describe him.
Yes. He, I mean, I've personally never seen it, but my mom testified to it. But they tried to say that my dad had a tattoo down there.
Right.
And, I mean, he let them take pictures, like the cops take pictures.
Right.
To prove that he didn't have anything but a scar down there.
Mm-hmm.
And that still wasn't good enough in the courts to realize that, they said that he had a tattoo and then he actually didn't have a tattoo. So, like, there was plenty of opportunities of them to see that these girls were lying, and they still favored the girls.
Wow.
And it didn't help that the jury was predominantly women, younger women for that matter.
I would have thought younger women would maybe back your father up, but older women would have been harder. But I might be wrong on that.
Well, there was one really young one. There was only 2 women out of the whole jury that were like considered older, but they were still younger in my eyes.
Did they have any men on the jury?
They had like 2 men, I think, or 3.
Why didn't the defense attorney fight that?
Because the lawyer that my mom and dad originally hired wasn't very good. His name was Ken Lewis.
Oh, I know him.
He was actually just recently arrested.
Yes.
For things, drinking and driving and stuff.
I thought he got arrested for something with minors.
I don't know if maybe he did, but the one article I read, he was like involved in like a drunken hit and run.
Right. Well, I'm glad he's being held accountable, whatever he got arrested for.
But my mom and dad didn't take this case seriously at first. Like, that's why they hired him, because they could have hired somebody a lot more, because Ken Lewis was only like $1,300.
Well, he probably thought that the system would work in his favor because he wasn't guilty, like so many of us did.
Especially because my dad provided DNA. They took carpet out of our house. They took my dad's cell phone. They took his bathrobe. They took like a bunch of stuff out of our house, and they didn't find any evidence whatsoever. Like, they didn't find no DNA, no pictures, nothing.
Did the girls get tested for rape or anything?
No, because they tried to say, like Ruby, for example, said this happened to her over years of time, and the reason why she kept coming over our house, because she was asked in court, well, why did you keep going over there? And her excuse was because she didn't want to lose a close friend. Well, that's bullshit, because I know plenty of people that have been raped.
Yeah. Well, if it would have happened to you, would you kept going to the house? I think
absolutely not.
Right. Because I was a victim too, and you don't go back to where the crime took place.
Yeah, no, and Ruby, every time she came over here, like my one ex-boyfriend, she used to sleep with all the time over here, and she used to sleep with my other brother, Josh.
Right.
So, I mean, Ruby's very promiscuous, and her behavior after the trial was also very demeaning. She would tease my brother in school, saying, "Haha, I put your father in jail," and this and that.
Boy, I wished we had video or something of that.
We tried to get the videos from the Medina County Career Center, and they said that they didn't have the tape anymore.
Yeah, obviously they're going to say it because it would go in your favor.
Yeah. I mean, because we tried to obtain it years ago.
Yeah. And what is your hopes now, or what? Don't go into the court proceedings that you're working on. I don't want to know about that, but he's been down, about 7 years now?
This October will be 8 years.
Okay. Boy, so he's got like 10 years left or 8 years?
He has 7 years left.
Okay. Well, either way, the goal is to get him out being wrongfully convicted, either now or after his release. He needs to fight it because he's going to have to register for a crime he did not commit.
Yeah, that's our hope. We're hoping that if by some chance we can get him out early, because I know that his time is already served for the first case.
Right.
So I'm not sure how that works, but we don't want him to have those. I know that we're going to have to do something to get that charge removed, which I don't know how that works.
Yeah, because I'm working on mine still, and it's tough. But I think, and maybe we'll put your father under it too, if this attorney would do it, is to fight the registry.
Yeah.
Because there's people that are innocent that has to register, and when a person is in prison, the family is as well. They do the time with them. If the family loves them, they do. So.
Well, it's definitely what me and my husband have been doing. We've been staying with my mother for this whole time, helping her with bills and making sure she's good emotionally, because if we weren't here, she would be a mess.
Right.
And we moved in like literally the day after my dad was convicted.
Right.
We've been here for her since day one, and it is hard because now we have a 3-year-old and we have one baby on the way. We want nothing more to have our own place. You
will someday, though.
Yeah.
Lucky you're still young.
Yeah. So. It's just we know that being here for her right now is the best choice.
Yeah. Believe me, take this from experience. When we're locked up, we just think nobody's helping us when there is people, and then we get pushy, because we want to come home, so, and I'm sure your father's that way. I was, and I know a lot of, but, all you can do is what you can do. Now let's talk a little bit about the second trial.
All right. So Addie's case, was a little bit out of nowhere. I was actually going through his comments on the first trial because they were in the newspaper, and I was reading all the comments in each newspaper article online, and I saw something that said another girl is going forward, and I was like, oh my God, what the hell? And then I find out that it was Addie, and Addie, she lived across the street from us, and she was over the whole week of the first trial, asking how things were going. And, she had her kids with her.
That sounds like she wanted money from the victims fund.
Yes. So, literally, then all of a sudden we were a trial for her case. She tried to say that my dad raped her over 100 times between 2003 and 2004, which we did not know her at that time.
And how does she know it's 100 times if it did happen? Did she count?
That's what I'm saying. There was a lot of things in her. If you looked into the trial, there's a lot of things that she said, and a lot of things in the police report that just don't add up.
But did you see the way it was all planned, with her spending that week at your house to get as much information as she could so she could go forward and lie to the prosecutor?
Exactly, yes. And
wow. I could figure that out. Yeah.
And because my dad was convicted of the first case, they didn't even think twice.
Right. I want you to call the Innocence Project and talk to Jennifer and explain this to her, that we need somebody to take this case.
Yeah.
And I would call every law school in the state of Ohio and pitch your case to them.
Yeah.
But be careful about going to the media until you talk to your attorney.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Now, we can't stop somebody from sharing this video, and they probably will, which is good, because the media most likely won't pick up a case when a guy was convicted of a sex case, even if he's innocent.
Yeah, no. Well, another thing I have to add with Addie is that she tried to say that she was me and my brother's babysitter. Addie's only 2 years older than me. So why would my mom have a 13-year-old babysit her 10 and 9-year-old with a newborn baby?
Right. Now, the next question I just want to bring out so people can know the details of him as a father. Was anything inappropriate happen to any of you?
No.
Good. That's what, I knew that already, but I want other people to know. If if he was a predator or whatever they call him, I would think you guys would be victims as well.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, the only thing my dad ever did was give us hard discipline.
Well, my parents did too.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah, my parents did too, and I did, and my wife made me stop it. So.
Yeah, my mom wasn't really for it either, but
yeah.
I mean, my dad wasn't so hard on me as he was my brothers.
Well, it sounds like you grew up pretty well, so maybe it worked.
Yeah, we had the best childhood growing up. The only one that was depleted of that was my youngest brother. My dad was taken away when Michael was only 10 years old.
Right.
And so it hit him really hard.
Right. Well, we got a protest coming up in Cleveland as well, which that would be from Medina and Cochran County because they're surrounding counties, and we'd love to have you up there with signs regarding your father. And anybody that could attend Saturday, we're expecting several hundred people there. We have 600 sign up and over 100 that said for sure, and 600 that said maybe. So we're going to get 150, 200 people, maybe more. If somebody comes, they could bring a sign with your father's name on it. It's a rally. It's not a protest, but they could bring a sign.
Yeah.
I would like you guys to come up with some type of statement from the family that you could pass out at some of these events.
Okay.
Even a Facebook page would probably be helpful, where you could post information, updates. You could make it closed if you want to, which means only the people that sign up can actually see what's posted on there.
Okay. Well, yeah, my dad is most of his siblings reside in Cleveland.
Okay.
So I'm sure that if I let them know about this or they're watching this, they'll be more than happy to.
Right, and we need to share this. Yeah, we need to share this video, and I'm going to share it on Twitter, LinkedIn. Share it all over Facebook. Let's start getting the message, not just for your father, but for all these people that the courts took advantage of, through hearsay. That person's did it, they find them guilty. No solid evidence.
I know there's hundreds of men out there with the same problem as my dad.
And with the women, too. There's over 300 women that's in for sex cases.
That's crazy.
But they don't promote women, but they only promote the wrong things the men do. So we got to, we got to do something. But we need, if you could send one, I think your brother said he was going to try to come down Saturday. If you got a doctor's appointment, you need to keep that.
Yeah, I have an appointment for my son.
Right.
I was going to try to change it, but it's really hard to get in the doctor's period with all this stuff going on right now with COVID.
Right. So, I mean, taking a child in the public, of course, I'm recommending masks, but you can't force people.
Yeah, with him being 3, he doesn't keep nothing on his face.
I think they said that kids under a certain age don't have to wear them.
Yeah, 10.
So I don't agree with that, but my kids are grown, so I don't. I don't know. I even put one on my cat the other day. He didn't like it, so I tried. We do have. Let your family know we do have shirts for our organization as well. They come in black or white. I'm the only one with the baseball hat, though, because that took a lot to make on the machine, and it's hard to get the emblem straight. But even if you would get shirts for your father, say "Free an Innocent Man" and his name, and so forth. Or you could get one of our shirts, and Candace could put on the back, "Free Pat Shank," or "Free our father, Pat Shank."
Yeah.
And wear those to protest rallies. Myself, I'm not embarrassed. I wear my shirt through grocery stores, the one that says "Inmate Lives Matter." I was called.
That's wonderful, though.
Yeah, I know. I think
it should be shared everywhere, not just protests.
I was called a racist over it, but. I like everyone, no matter what race you are, gender, or anything.
That's how everybody should be, in my opinion.
Right. I think people should not have blue hair. That's the only thing.
Oh, that's me.
I know. How did your father like the blue hair?
Oh, God. He hates it, especially because my dad's colorblind. So it's perceived as a different color to him. And I don't keep my hair one color ever. It's always like a couple colors at a time. And
right.
He just thinks it looks crazy. And
right. So
this is my natural hair color.
Okay. So to get the message out, what does the family want to see happen? If people want to come forward to help, or an attorney, or if someone wants to donate towards your cause, how can they? Do you have an email where they can email you guys?
I have an email. It's just a little crazy, just because I haven't changed it since I was 15. But I mean, I do have a PayPal account through Facebook.
Okay.
I just have to figure out how to use it again. I haven't used it since, because I created a Pat Shank is Innocent page a while ago when this first started happening with my dad.
How can somebody get on that page?
They'd have to go on my mom's Facebook, which my mom doesn't use. I created my mom's Facebook myself and was running it myself.
Right.
And there's like a separate page that says Pat Shank is Innocent on her Facebook somewhere.
Well, they could just type it in on the top, can't they?
They could, yeah. I haven't used, like I said, I haven't used it since I got donations from it years ago, because we were trying to raise money for a lawyer.
Well, I mean, if you really want to be successful, you said, to raise money, families only can pay so much.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's definitely, like I said, we had to get rid of a lot of stuff. I had to sell my dirt bike. We had to sell a lot of my dad's music equipment. We had to sell just everything just to get lawyers that did nothing for us. Now,
I have a mother and father that sold a house, to pay for attorneys for her son, and now she lives in a trailer. She had a beautiful home. Yeah, but when you love somebody, you sacrifice.
Yes.
So people, you could also inbox her, I'm sure, on Facebook. What's your full name so that they know?
Sarah Willoughby.
Okay, and if you'd like to give a hand, if you want to show up at protest with signs, if you want to buy one of our shirts, add his name on the back. I think that would be beneficial. And financially, they could use some help to cover for the cost of attorney fees. And let's hold Medina accountable. I mean, they did have a good mayor at the time, Bill Lamb. I grew up with him. Well, he might have changed. He's a councilman now in Medina, but he was a mayor at the time, I believe.
Well, the judges also have to be held accountable in Medina, because Judge Kimbler knew Addie's family.
Okay, we need to talk a little bit about him. He blocked me on Facebook when I made a post about how corrupt Medina was. And then his wife sent me a friend request when she became judge. Then she blocked me. So.
Yes, the Medina County court system is very corrupted. I know Collier's just a mean judge. I don't think he would have shown any mercy. I think the jury was a good option for the first. Even though my dad was found guilty, I think Judge Collier would have been a lot harder on him.
Sometimes for sex cases, though, depending who the judge is, sometimes it's better with a judge trial, not a jury.
Well, that's what we did with Kimbler. And like I said, we didn't know that he knew the victim's family.
Well, I think you guys. I think you guys are on the right page. Remember, to get someone out that's innocent, it's harder than getting arrested. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, this is going to be a battle, uphill battle. You're going to need to gain support, so that you have other people that are willing to help you. It doesn't have to be family members. It could be neighbors. It could be other listeners that want to lift a hand, and attend protests for you guys, and maybe even if you guys could have a fundraiser and raise a couple hundred at a time. You could type in companies in Ohio with donation request forms and ask for donations, and a lot of them will. Bob's Big Boy, I don't know if it's called Bob's Big Boy anymore, but they always donate to us, a booklet of those Big Boy sandwiches for free. And we usually get $25 for it. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame gave us a year pass for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Columbus Zoo always donates. So Cleveland Zoo will not. They only donate to kids' charities.
Right.
So I would do that and do an online raffle. And you always can lower prices as you go on, but try to set up a PayPal where they can donate directly to the PayPal.
Yeah, like I said, I have a couple of PayPals. I just have to get back on them.
Right.
I have one active one that I have.
We do have a website, so I need a picture of your father emailed to us and a summary, and we'll put him on our email. But give me a couple of weeks to get that organized and send it in, because I want to start featuring wrongfully convicted people. And not everybody we know for sure if they're guilty, but we have to take people for their word.
Does it have to be a recent picture?
No. I don't. How many families have recent pictures of their loved ones that's locked up?
Well, because of JPay, my dad can send us pictures of himself, but they're not very good pictures, kind of blurry. But
yeah, and he's getting older like me. I got locked up at 17. Got out when I was in my mid 40s, and I'm 57 now. So. And
my dad, if you know anything about my dad, if he was out in the world right now, he would not have his hair is like all gray now, and he would definitely be dyeing his hair.
Yeah, well, my beard's all gray. Yeah, well, he has a chance, and I heard he was a hell of a musician.
Oh yeah, he's been playing guitar since he was 7 years old. He can play any song you want. We
were talking about having a music festival, as a fundraiser, and the top music person, we have a judge panel, would get, something, but we're charged $10 per person, to come in. Like they had at the one stadium in Columbus, they had over 500 people show up.
Really?
So, and I hope,
a musician as well, so.
Hey, you might want to contact some of these big law firms, Cleveland and in Medina, and ask them if they have a pro bono section. Most of them do. And see if you could get someone to donate their time. Contact the Ohio Bar and ask them. And if you have a problem with the attorney you had, file a complaint with the Ohio Bar. He needs to be held accountable.
Right.
Don't let these people get away with stuff. Don't let Medina bully you, because he's innocent, so you got to continue to fight.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've been fighting this for years.
I'm thinking about calling up Medina County and asking, is his wife still a judge up there?
Judge Kimbler?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Good. I'm going to call her up and see if she'll do an interview with me.
And like I said, I saw Judge Kimbler before I went on this, because I got released from my job because of COVID. But I did an oil change on the previous Judge Kimbler's car, and
I'm sure that was hard.
Do what?
I'm sure that was hard for you.
It was very hard, considering I was the one that had to speak with him, and he. I don't remember how the conversation started about it, but I ended up because he mentioned how uncomfortable I looked or something, and I said, "Well, yeah, you tried my father's case," and when I told him who my dad was, he didn't even remember. And I'm thinking to myself, that's kind of weird, considering my dad's case is the last one that you tried.
And it made the newspapers, correct?
Yes, it was on the newspaper the whole week.
I want to tell you something. Now, I remember reading it. I was already out in the streets, but I remember reading it myself because I check all newspapers up. But I didn't know if he was guilty or not. The newspapers made it sound like he was at the time. So, I wasn't sure. But now I know he's innocent. So let's get the message out. Folks, if you want to get a hold of her, her name is Sarah. What's your last name again? Willoughby, and she's on Facebook. If you want to make a financial donation, inbox her, and she could send you the information. If you would like to carry signs for her at some of our protests, let's do that. So let's start helping these people that need assistance for their loved ones. Okay, everybody. Sarah, we'll have you on again in maybe a month on this, but we want to do a Facebook Live with you as well. So I'm thinking about we could have Nancy do that, or I can do that. I have more followers on my page, which we can probably expand it because I have 2 pages and both have almost 5,000 on it. And
Oh, wow.
and we just need and some of them don't like what we're doing, but I keep them on to try to educate them. Sometimes we win, sometimes we don't. And when they start bashing us too hard, I unfriend them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't have time for bashing. I get bashed all the time, and I don't care really. I have victims groups coming after me, and we do care about victims, and our number one goal is no new victim, but we also know that 20% of the population is probably innocent.
Exactly.
So, or wrongfully convicted. Some of them could have gotten out in just months, but the county will up it just to get a conviction and the money for sending people to jail, like Cuyahoga County under Bill Mason, O'Malley, under Medina County, under those prosecutors you guys had, and the judges in both counties are corrupt, including Franklin County. So,
that's sad.
Yeah, we have some good judges in Franklin County, but we also have. I remember one judge telling me and my partner Amy Ricks at one time that if you come in front of me for a sex case, you don't have a chance. I said, so he's automatically guilty before the trial? Basically, that's what he was saying.
That's messed up.
Right, and that's what happened in your father's case, I think.
Well, that's exactly what happened. Medina's a very snooty town.
Well, we're gonna
reputation.
Yeah, we're gonna hold them accountable. You talk to your attorney to see if we can go to the media or anything. I don't want to do anything until then, but talk to them and then see what happens, and I'll try to set something up.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Okay, everybody. We'll do a live.